Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic I want to talk about how the empath sells their soul to the narcissist. How the empath sells their soul to the narcissist. You know, we love discussing how people, artists, the industry, how people just sell their souls, not, knowing that every day you're selling your souls to narcissistic people. When you go to work, when you have to remain silent, not being able to speak your mind, not being able to be yourself, not being able to speak about certain things, right? Just like when you go to work, you're not able to discuss, politics. You're not able to discuss certain things that can be controversial. So selling your soul feels a lot like that to when you sell your soul to a narcissist. It's like trying to speak the truth into people around you and nobody hears you. It's like being forgiving, but not being forgiven, right? It's like having the capacity to forgive others, but not receiving the same thing back. Having the capacity to be loyal, but not having that back. You sell the people around you, right? Because the biggest trick that narcissistic people play in your life is that they turn you against one another. That spirit in the narcissist turns you against others. It literally attaches itself to you, and you think you can trust this person. You think these people, you're close to, or this is the person that you might be sleeping with, have children with, and you get to the point where you're going to know that you're selling yourself. See, first it happens in a way where it's, they're bringing up things from the past. It's like they know you, right? See, the thing about the narcissist, when you leave, you're questioning, did this person do, it seemed calculated, or a lot of people have this same story, but this is how it goes. That energy, that dark energy of the narcissist, because it's almost like a shell of a person staring at you. And it's kind of scary because after dealing with these people, right, you realize that cold stare, or the times you tried to look them in the eyes and seek some type of compassion, it was almost kind of like looking into a serial killer's eyes, and they just got this blank look on their face with no emotion. It's like there's no human being there, right? So when you leave these relationships and you come across a lot of people, you realize a lot of people, whether they're in their own little world, or you could tell some people have a lot of anxiety. Some people are just very friendly, very open. When you run across different personalities, when you look at people in their eyes, a lot of times you can see people's souls. You can see that they're still there, but you cannot relate to them, right? And at some point, you used to attract narcissists. Now, they can spot you out quick. They know they can't control you. They know that, you don't have supply for them. They know that you might have even already ran across certain narcissists, so they might feel like you don't have energy for me, right? You sold yourself to someone else. You've already been sold to someone. You've already been imprinted on, right? So this is why I say, the empath sells themselves, sells their soul to the narcissist, because there comes a point in time where you see that cold look, that ice cold look, when you hear what they say, when it's like, it's almost like they have some type of demonic possession, because they're saying things, they're bringing up your past sometimes, they're pointing out your insecurities. It's like a demon is possessing the narcissist. It's like you almost start to look at them like they're a shell of a person, and it's almost like you see them as themselves, like before they died. This is their character. This is who they've always been. And then when they wear the mask, you see that as a separate entity. You see that as what they're trying to portray to you, to the world, even to yourself. Even to yourself. Even when you see how diabolical the narcissist can be, it's like there's this look in their eyes, almost like, you think you know who I am, but you don't really know who I am. You think you know me. My family, my friends, no one knows me. So it's almost like the narcissist is very aware that they sold themselves, and they've made this oath that whoever they come across, they're going to just use for supply, right? It's almost, crazy too, because they'll speak to you about their past or their traumas or things like that. And those are usually the things that get to people, right? When you've ran across these type of people, when people share their stories, you're not easily influenced to believe them. Or sometimes you start to see that they even put on an act. They start shedding tears. They're expecting certain reactions out of you, right? They're trying to win you over, almost like they can't completely read you, and they're trying to win you over to believe this fake persona, right? Because they care about what people think. They care about what you think. They want to know. They want to make sure that you're secured in as supply, and if you're not, they're trying to find a way to look down on you, to not make you credible, right? It's like there's something deeper, darker. So the empath, you sell yourself out for the narcissist, because it gets to the point where you're like, I'm dancing with the devil, right? Like, you're aware this is not normal. Your behavior is not normal. You start losing things. You start losing finances. You start losing family, friends. It's like you're in a nightmare, and the narcissist they have you looking everywhere. And then there comes a point where hey, this is the person that's the problem, and they're manifesting their way into my life. They're speaking about my family. They're speaking about people that they don't really know, but they speak of them like they know them. They speak of them as if they've met them already, as if they know their life, and it's almost like it's almost like you're seeing them trying to put the pieces together and find a way to sabotage you, or to get you to feel like you're better off alone, right? That's the biggest deception that narcissistic people will do, is that it's like their mission, because it doesn't even make sense, right? They hoover, and it's like every time they come back, it gets worse, right? It's like it gets worse and worse. And not till you've really seen it, not until you've been in these type of relationships where you lose literally your whole identity. That's part of what the narcissist want. It's the narcissist wants you to sell your soul. So you're selling to them when they got you putting out hate with someone else, when you're hating your brother, when you're hating your family, when you're hating people around you, when you're unforgiving to people, when you're they're invoking hate from the past or things that are happening in recent times. They're putting all this hate against people who are also walking blind, who are also in this war where they have people in their world where they got people around them that are trying to sell them out, or people who have already sold them out. So you're trying to decipher who sold themselves out, and you'll be able to tell because these people are just not, you'll find yourself, apologizing to them, and they're cold. They're just cold people. So some people you feel like, it was supposed to be that way at the end, because if you would have not, woken up, you wouldn't have seen these things. You wouldn't have seen these people for who they are. So it's almost like this Grim Reaper. It's like this Grim Reaper was making you aware, but at the same time, he knows, she knows, the people around that are trying to sell you out, they know that if you are alone, right? If you're alone, you're going to be targeted. So it's like, do you want to be targeted by everyone, or do you want to be targeted by the people around you? So you can know where it's coming from, right? Or you can at least contain that energy from trying to tear you down. So you got people that will sell you out, who will sell their friends out, sell people around them out. And, these are people that at first they might have said, oh, my parents are narcissists, but now they're running back to these people. They're selling you out. They're going back. And you know what they do? They go back and they talk bad about you. They go back and they make themselves seem like a savior, or as if they were trying to be nice to you. And a lot of times, you'll even tell them what they're going to do before they do it, or what's going to happen to them before it happens. Because you've already been there before, right? You've already been there before. The narcissist made you sell everyone in your life out. That's what the narcissist does. They're there to steal, kill, and destroy, and to deceive you. So guess what? If you're having issues with your parents, the narcissist will put things in your head, right? These things might be true, but guess what? That your parent might have not been perfect. You might be following the same patterns they followed and you're judging them. Or you might be a better version of yourself because of them, but you don't want to give nobody their flowers because you're mad. So now you start selling them out because you got the narcissist in your ear. But in the end, when you're alone, when you tell yourself, I'm a stay away from my parent, I'm never gonna talk to them anymore. And as the years go by, you will realize that you made a big mistake, and that the person you were sleeping with was the Decepticon the whole time. They were the devil. They were putting things in your head. They were instilling hate in your head. Not only that, but they were doing these same things to the people around you. The same people around you have narcissists in their life. Sometimes they might view you as the narcissist because they don't know what they're doing wrong. They can't even understand. But you feel like you almost feel like you're in danger because they don't understand the war that is going on. So the narcissist wants you to sell people out. The narcissist wants you to sell the people around you out because you might feel like it's either me or them, right? So the narcissist tries to sell you out, and they do in many ways because you lose a lot, right? But it's also because you're giving the narcissist your power. You're giving it away. Some people sell themselves out completely, and then it's hard to recover from that because there was a point in that relationship with these people where you were just too much aware of what was going on. See, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because you get around these people, and when they start behaving this way, they're studying you because they've done this many times before. See, when the narcissist sold themselves out, they can tell you about their story or whatever, right? But that doesn't even matter anymore. Their traumas, all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. Because there came a point in time where they knew enough to stop doing what they were doing, but they couldn't stop, right? They couldn't stop. So they kept doing these things, whatever it is, over and over again. And when I say this, I mean, just like it's hard to reach out to people and for people not to understand you or to see you for who you are in your spirit, the narcissist sold themselves out to the point where the things that they have done, they cannot speak of, right? They can't speak of these things. What they do behind closed doors, who they are, the black magic, the all type of addictions and things that they do, they're not going to share these things with you. Sometimes, guess what? Sometimes the narcissists, they'll be on drugs and you won't even know. You just know they're spazzing out and acting crazy. And if you ask them, they'll deny it. They'll lie to you straight in your face. And guess what? You'll feel like you're around a new entity. You'll feel like a new entity has possessed them. It's like you keep going from one stranger to another in the same body. And it keeps changing its personalities based on who it's around. So when it comes back to you, it's trying to relearn you or to put a spell on you all over again. It's trying to seduce you. That's all it has to offer is seduction. So when you lay down with these type of entities, you're selling yourself out. Now you could feel the spirits of other women. Now you could feel the pain of other supplies who've been in it, who've sold themselves out for these people. So a lot of that energy, a lot of that baggage that you carry, a lot of that weight, that's a lot of the narcissist weight. It's a lot of what they carry. And that's why when they're around you, if you pay attention, it's like a demon just wakes up and it has a lot of energy and it starts performing. The narcissist starts performing because they sold themselves out a long time ago. So when they sell themselves out, they sell their ability to connect to others, their inability to connect to their family, their friends. So when they come across you and they see that you might have family drama, you might have little things like that, but you're still connected, they hate you for that. So they deceive you. They deceive you until they find a new supply, or until they see that you're giving them enough energy to mend relationships that they have with people around them. They're energy thieves. And then you'll leave and it's like you're living their life by yourself the way you found them, where they might have had people around them, but they felt alone because they sold themselves out so they couldn't connect to anyone. So then it's like you get to a point where they're making a deal with you because you're well aware of what this entity is, and you want to be with this physical being so much because the physical statue of it's got you hooked, not knowing what the spiritual is, but having an idea. But you think, I can change this person, and that's the biggest deception the devil will give you, is to think that you can change the narcissist, because the narcissist isn't even themselves, and they're not in the right state of mind. They're not even in their mind half the time. They're doing a lot of the stuff that they do, and then they come back to their bodies like, yeah, that was messed up what I did, but I went through some rough shit in my life, and they make it about themselves again. So when you sell your soul to the narcissist, you lose people, and then guess what? You're basically alone, because you'll start to see that everyone around you is so consumed with themselves, just like the narcissist. So now you feel like, I can't trust them. I can't you start to see that you were so trusting of people when they don't even have control over themselves, you know? So it's a very serious thing, you know, because the narcissist makes, you know, a mockery out of you. When they leave, when they laugh at you, it's almost blasphemous. Don't you think it's really, really crazy that when these people walk out of your life, they're laughing? Like, they literally are laughing. They're grinning. They're telling you how they played you. They're telling you that they used you. They're telling you that they got away. Right? And you're almost like, how can someone crush me or use my empathy and my love against me? And then how could they just, like, it was bad enough that you kept selling yourselves out, thinking you're going to, like you were saving someone, right? But they were saving themselves. It's the biggest deception. It's the biggest con. Where you're investing your time and energy into people, and they're sitting back thinking of destroying you, right? Or watching you destroy yourself. They're sitting back just watching everything unravel almost like that was their plan all along. And sometimes they'll even tell you. They'll even tell you, or they'll tell you, they've done worse to others, or they'll tell you, you know, uh, that they got you good, you know, or that they played you, they got more out of you than someone else, and that's all they do. That's their full-time job. That's their real job in life. Everything else is just a mask, right? So the empath sells their soul to the narcissist, and if you make it out alive, and if you make it out with a handful of people, a lot of times, with me, I feel like I sold everyone out to be with the narcissist, right? That's how it feels. It feels like I sold everyone out. Even though they did things to me and things like that, I feel like narcissistic people consume your life, like 90% of your life at least, while you're with them. And you're only getting 10%. You're only getting 10%, and that 10% you think is a lot. You think it's a lot. You're selling yourself for nothing. For crumbs. And then if you end up with anybody, like if you end up with your parents or your mother, or there's always going to be someone, because when you survive this type of abuse, that's what makes you see that God is real. Because then God starts using certain people, and they might not be with you throughout the whole journey into discovering that there's a God too. But then it'll feel like God can't hear you, because the people that are there for you, they're there for you no matter what, but they will not understand you. And instead, you will be there to protect them. In order for you to gain your energy back, you have to restore your energy by giving, and giving to the right people, and giving to those who are blind, right? Even if they turn on you, even if they don't like to hear what you got to say, right? And a lot of times, the people that will hear you, they, like I said, a lot of times they will turn on you. They want to tap out. They just want to use you for healing, but for a short period of time, and that's cool too. And I don't mean online, I mean like in real life. But they always come back, or they always remember what you said, or they realize that you said certain things that they couldn't understand until it happened to them. A lot of times these people talk bad about you until someone sells them out. And then they get it. They get what you were going through. A lot of times, right? You're watching everyone and you're seeing things play out. That's part of when you sell yourself to the narcissist. It's almost like it's hard to live a normal life, because you see things coming, and if you say something to people, they're going to think you're crazy. They're going to wonder why you know certain things. Or it's almost like they believe you, but they don't even see the power in what you're saying to them. Like, how the fuck would I know this? When you sell yourself to the narcissist, your old self is gone. It's like it's here, but it's not here. Just like the narcissist is here, but he's not here. It's like you're here, but your reality is gone. It's like you're reborn, but the people that you know or that you used to know, they don't look at you the same. It's like they look at you like you're a stranger almost. And I say this because I've had people look at me like a stranger, and I could see it in their eyes, like they don't recognize you anymore, and they turn on you. Then there are those, right, that are supposed to turn on you, and you see it coming, but they're asleep. They're asleep. And then there's the battle where I'm telling you, it's almost like you're not even fighting against the narcissist, even though the narcissist attacks, and the narcissist finds its way to attack, but what the narcissist spirit does is it doesn't commit the acts itself. It uses the people that are asleep, that are brainwashed to do things. The people who say that they're empaths, the people that are still in pain. I mean, we're in pain, but they don't even know the cause of their suffering. They don't even know where it stems from. They don't even realize their patterns, and it's scary because those are the people that you'll help, but you have to be careful. So you sell yourself out almost because you can't completely even be yourself with people. The old you is gone, like the being able to be yourself, because now if you try to be this new version of yourself, right, that new version of yourself is going to be attacked. And if you're not aware of the attacks or how to handle the attacks, that's what's going to cause you to sell yourself all over again. And that type of destruction that the narcissists inflict on you, that you got away from, it's going to repeat itself, but now it's going to manifest through different people in different ways. And every single one of those tests are related to narcissism. It's related to those spiritual attacks. And there's lessons in all of that. And those things will help you think better. It will help you move better. It will help you maneuver around people. It will help you with survival. You will think about things before you do them. You will think about solutions instead of thinking about problems, because it'll get you to a state of mind where you can't think about the physical. You're in the soul. You're moving through the soul now, right? Because you sold the old you now. And in this version, there's times of peace, but there's times of war, right? So the empath is going through war, right? So there'll be times where things are in turmoil, right? But there's times of peace. And in those times of peace, that's when you're creative. That's when you can speak about things. That's when you can manifest things. That's when great things are happening, or, parts of your evolution are happening. But, when it's time for war, you'll feel it. You'll feel it because you'll see how the narcissist and the sheep around you, you can feel how they're vibrating. You can see that they're destroying one another. You're seeing that they're getting their karma. And the only thing you can think of is, I hope they're not thinking about me. So when these people are, when they're so afraid to come around you, you should be glad, because they're not coming back around you because they have remorse. You know, for a very long time, you know, when you sell yourselves for these narcissistic people, you'll wish that they can come back. You'll wish that you could have done things differently. You'll wish that maybe you knew more about relationships, or you wish you could have done certain things, because you keep having this image in your head of what you could have done differently. But that was part of destiny. It already happened. You were destined to go through those things a lot of times, based off of your past, based off of your upbringing, based off of what's happened to the people before you. You know, so it's scary because you have to break through that. And if you think the pain is deep, you have to think about others that felt like they had to sell themselves short, or had to do certain things, or went through certain situations because they didn't know any way around it. So it helps you not to judge, and it helps you understand that you can't focus on other people's reality, because guess what? When you get on social media, that's what everything is meant to do. It's meant to take away your soul, because you're looking at other people's realities. You're wishing you're living other people's lives. You're idolizing relationships. You're idolizing false marriages and perceptions. And a lot of times these people don't want to show you what's really going on, because they're selling themselves for money. And when you believe it, you're selling yourself out too. Everything has a frequency, and when you're dealing with narcissistic people, they are the lowest of the lowest frequency. There's no light in them. There's literally no light in this person. There's nothing productive or fruitful that can come from this person. A lot of people label people narcissists, but when you've came across a real narcissist, you know what I'm talking about. That cold stare, that cold look, that evil energy, that no remorse. They're not embarrassed for their actions. If not, they want other people to see their misbehavior. It's like a big ass kid. They want to see other people they want other people to see you be abused. They want other people to witness the abuse. They can't even just do the abuse all by themselves behind closed doors. They want other people to jump in on it. They want their friends and family to jump in on it. They want strangers on the street to look at them like they're the man because they just hit you in front of everybody. You know, they just called you out your name in front of everyone like you're nobody. Like you're a slave. Like you're selling your soul for this person. Like you are dumb. Look at this dummy. I'm just feeding off of them. Looking at other narcissists. And then you'll see other narcissists jumping in like demons. And don't even know you. Don't even know you. And I'm saying I've seen it with my own eyes. I've witnessed this. I've experienced this. I'm at a 5-star restaurant for the narcissist brother's birthday, and he tried to tell me to give him more money in front of his brother, and he had never done that. And I'm like, why is he acting like, you don't act like this when it's just me and him. But he's in front of his brother. His whole act just changed. I knew he was an actor, but it was almost like I was in disbelief. You know, when you're around narcissistic people and they're being two-faced, I've seen, like, family and friends where I've told them about the narcissist being two-faced, and then the narcissist gets around and it's like they forget about what I say, because it's like the narcissist puts a spell. It's like they're under a spell. That's part of selling your soul to the narcissist, is that you can tell people about the narcissist and you'll see that it almost seems like people start enabling the narcissist even more. It's like they start enabling them more. Or it's like they're like, oh, I'm not going to pick no sides, right? So you realize when you're dealing with these type of people, it's either you stick it out with them and deal with all the weird stuff, or you remove yourself. But as long as you stick around, they're going to keep chipping at you, and you don't want to believe it. You're waiting for them to change, but they're just waiting for you to turn to dust. They're waiting they're waiting till, they keep coming back like demons until they can destroy everything in your life. And then they'll leave. And then they'll laugh, joke it off, talk bad about you, call you names, tell you how they really feel about you, no remorse. And you might think to yourself, well, they might be saying all these mean things because they're with a new supply and they want to move on with the new supply, so they want me to feel low about myself. They want to treat me so bad so that I don't reach out to them. Right? That's what you're thinking, right? That's part of when the narcissist is trying to make you sell your soul to them completely. It's when they got to make you feel as low as possible, but you got to really think about it. They won't do this. They won't completely discard you until they've really ruined you. And if you haven't really been ruined by these people and you've been with them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, hey, even 4 years, and they leave you alone and they disappear, you better be happy. You better be praying to God, because some people, they sell their souls to the point where they had to sell their own family. The people in their families died. They didn't get to say goodbye. A whole bunch of shit go on. And you were so focused on you weren't in the present. That's part of selling your soul, is that you're not living in the present. You become a slave to the narcissist. You're not living in the present. So things are happening and you're not living in your reality to see those things, even if you hear about those things. And if you present yourself in the present's going to look at you as an unfamiliar face. So why would the narcissist stick around, right? They stick around to destroy you. So people who haven't completely sold themselves, the people around them out for the narcissist, and you still got people around, you better be grateful. Because guess what? You weren't their only supply. So if they left you alone after a year or 2 years, I'm telling you now, if they left you alone after a year or 2 years, you better never look back. And a lot of people, guess what? They're still going to look back. They're going to sell themselves out again. Why? Because they're going to feel like they're lonely. Right? Or they're selling the people around them out. They're mad at the people around them out that they're looking for a savior. So they make the narcissist their God. So you're selling yourself out to the narcissist. You make them your God. Why? Because you feel like there's truth in him or her, and there's no truth in that person. They're there to steal, kill, and destroy. So a lot of times when these people stick around and then they disappear, guess what they're doing? They're going back to finish somebody else off. And then they feel like, I'm going to go finish that person off. I've been with you 2-3 years. I'm just giving you an example, right? I'm going to go finish destroying that person because I've already started with you. And you think I destroyed you, and you think I'll never come back. You have a feeling that person's going to come back. And then they do. Because they're done destroying that other person. That person sold their family, friends, everyone out. And if that person comes around, the narcissist is telling you, oh, my ex is obsessed with me. They did a lot of bad things to this person. That person feels like they have nothing. They probably don't got nothing or no one. They're probably hanging by a string. And the narcissist is going to yo-yo them up and down, waving you around like the prize, getting ready to do the same thing to you. But you don't think they're going to do that to you. You think they're the victim. Or you might secretly know that they're not. And the narcissist knows that you know. So it doesn't matter if you pretend like you're dumb and don't know what's happening. Your spirit knows what's happening, just like your intuition's always telling you stuff. And eventually your intuition's going to tell you you're dancing with the devil. Eventually that voice in your head is going to tell you, leave this person alone. They're trying to destroy someone else. They're trying to finish someone else off. And you won't care. Because you feel like whatever they had going on before, it doesn't matter anymore. They've moved on. Right? So a lot of people have ideas, or they realize, right? Or they have proof. Or the narcissist lies to both parties. They tell that other person, oh, I'm just using them. They tell you, I'm just using them. And you ignore it. You ignore it. Now you become competitive. Secretly. But guess what? The devil knows your thoughts. The narcissist knows
how does the narcissist
know your thoughts? Right? How do you hear the voice of God? So when the voice of God is giving you signs and red flags, the narcissist has voices too that are telling them the red flags that they're exposing. And now they're going to make a blasphemy out of you. They're going to project back onto you your own thoughts. They're going to use your own thoughts against you. They're going to know what you're thinking. They're going to know your next move. They know when to be on their best behavior. They're going to throw you off. You ever had a narcissist, they're super nice to you one day, they go out and take you out, and the next thing you know, they just figure out how to fight you and disappear, and you're wondering, why would they love bomb me so intensely and then just disappear like that? They know your every thought, your every move. They know when you'll be forgiving. They know when you won't be forgiving. They know when you start finding out bits and pieces of the truth. They know eventually the whole puzzle is going to be there. You know? So the narcissist sells you out because they sold themselves out a long time ago. They don't hear the voice of God anymore. A lot of empaths made it out to where you could still hear the voice of God. The narcissist heard the voice of God, and they kept doing what they wanted to do. They kept going against God. And we understand how addicting that is because we were once addicted to the narcissist. So we understand that addiction. We understand the addiction of sinning, of doing something, even when we know it's wrong. Even though, it's like people do things, right? People sell themselves for money. They do things, they say things that they won't discuss to other people. Or when they discuss to other people, they make a joke out of it. They make a mockery out of it. Because it was all for the money. It was all for the money. It was just some quick money real fast. Just all making money real quick. I don't even gotta do nothing. I don't even gotta do nothing. If you can't speak these things, if you can't speak about the things that you do and say to others, and you think you're keeping it a secret because it's in your mind, it's in your brain, no one knows your thoughts. That energy knows your thoughts. You're selling yourself. You're selling yourself. Because you might think you might not be doing something physically to somebody, but guess what? When you're speaking it, when you're thinking it, when you're gossiping, you're projecting these things out that you're going to get back. So this is why when you're aware of these things, the narcissist, when they're trying to bring you down, they're bringing themselves down. This is why you can't sell yourself for any and everything. But you will be tested. You'll be tested over and over and over again just to see how strong you are. And guess what? Most people, they can't survive. They're so programmed that they'll sell their own children out. They'll sell their siblings, they'll sell their sister, they'll sell whoever, their children, right? So this is why narcissists, they don't take accountability because they sold themselves out already. To them it's like they look at it like it doesn't really matter if I do or if I don't. So I've realized that, and I've realized no, it's really spiritual. I told you guys when I went hiking and the narcissist was standing over me a couple of steps away, and I was by the water, kind of kneeling down. I just saw a shadow go right by them. I was in hell when I was with the narcissist. I see a shadow go around him, looking right at his face, but he was looking at me, and I'm staring at him, wondering if he could see it, but he's not turning around. He's still looking at me. So then I see the shadow go quickly right in front of me, and it's looking at me. But what I could recall from the way it was looking at the narcissist, it was almost the way it went around him, and it was looking at him from the side of the face, from his left side of his face. It looked like it was analyzing him, like it was looking at him like, should I use you? Do I want this body? Like, I'm not sure. Like, it was inspecting him. Like, he's looking at me. It's like that being knew that the narcissist couldn't see it. And it was looking at him like it was looking for a house, which is scary. And then when it comes in front of me, it's speaking to me telepathically. And that's when I realized telepathy is a real thing because I had experienced it with the narcissist one time where we were speaking to each other right next to each other, and it was like we were just laughing because it was like we could hear each other's thoughts. That's how close I felt to him. So when that happened, I was like, if this being can read my thoughts, then it knows it knows everything. It knows the good, it knows the bad. And sometimes we think to ourselves that the bad things we've done, or the things that go unnoticed, or the things that people don't know, people won't ever know. We feel like it will never come to light, right? We feel like, oh, it will never come to light. But everything you do, you will face. Because that's what the narcissist will invoke. They will invoke you to do things that you might have never done before. They will take you down a dark path where you will do things that you never thought you would do, or things that you don't want to talk about, or things you feel like you left in the past, or whatever situation. But if you start to judge others, guess what? You're selling yourself out, because you're not acknowledging, you're ignoring, So the narcissist is aware of the things that they've done in a way that you haven't. They've had to relive certain things over and over again, and all they're doing is finding ways to manipulate better. So in that experience that I had, the narcissist, they said to me, was something right by my shoulder right now? And this is something that it's one of those things that I'll never forget because it was so real. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you wonder, it makes you wonder about the world around you. It makes you wonder about the spiritual realm, the connection and humanity. We're one human race. And it makes you think about so much, right? And it makes you feel like you were sold out a long time ago. You were sold out, and you almost feel like this is the life that you were supposed to live. And then you got all this propaganda just thrown at you to keep you distracted from the evils of this world. Now it's acceptable. Once upon a time you had to protect evil from children. Now children are evil. Children, everyone's against one another, selling each other out, right? Children outsmarting their parents, parents thinking they're outsmarting their children and damaging them, selling them out. So I realized, you would think that a situation that impactful, right? Just that situation where the narcissist is telling me, did you see, was there something next to me? And I told him, and he goes, let's get out of here. Like he got the chills. He said, let's get out of here. Let's walk that way. And I kind of felt like maybe something bad happened there. I felt like bad energy. It was like, let's go. But it's the simple fact that when he looked at me, he said, was there something next to me? I never told him there was something next to him. I thought I was just seeing shit. Even though I heard this being said, because I said, I'm not scared of you in my head. I didn't speak it out loud because I didn't know if the narcissist saw what I saw. So I didn't want to say nothing. So I'm just looking at it, and I said, I'm not scared of you. And it said, well, you should be. That's when I knew that everything that had happened to me came from the narcissist. And the way it looked at the narcissist, it was like it was analyzing him. Like almost like, should I use this body? Can I use this body? Is somebody else? Who else in there? It's empty. I think I could use this. And the narcissist was very different at that time. Like I could tell a lot was going on that I didn't know, right? Because I didn't have any proof or anything, but I already knew. But it was like dancing with the devil. And you would think a situation like that would bring us closer, right? Because when I spoke about this, it's almost like he wasn't surprised. Like he kind of knew. That's the crazy part. It's like he kind of knew. That's when I knew the narcissists, they sold themselves out. They've been praying and praying to sell themselves out, and they actually sold themselves out for nothing, for breadcrumbs. And that's why they breadcrumb you, because they sold themselves for breadcrumbs. So this is why they sell you out. So while everybody worried about people being sold out in the industry, you're selling yourself out when you're with the narcissist. You're selling yourself out when you're listening to demonic music. You're selling yourself out when you're gossiping. People are selling themselves out every day. Every day. When they're listening to one side to the story but not the other. When they're picking sides with people. When they're getting involved in other people's business, damaging people's lives. When they're giving bad advice. When they're trusting these narcissists to be who they say they are, but they already took the mask off, and you still got faith in them. Every time you got faith in someone who already dropped the mask on you, you selling yourself out. You're giving them energy. This is why you see a lot of narcissists, they have a lot of energy. They got more energy than the typical empath because they're getting energy from people. So you're talking about, oh, these people selling themselves out. People are selling themselves out every day. Just like I was going to say earlier, I had a dream, right? I was having dreams about Barbies for a while before the Barbie movie came out. And I said to myself, why do I keep having dreams about Barbie? And I was like, it was freaky. This was like a couple years ago. I was having dreams about Barbie, and there was a whole bunch of spirits in front of my home, and they were all trying to come in. And one of them managed to come in, and I was like, you can't come in here. And it was like, I can come in here because I live here. And then the whole room just changed. Like my house changed the way it looked, and it looked like I was back in the day, like I was back in some ancient times. Like everything was made out of wood. It was just looked weird. And it was like a little girl that pulled out. This person was showing me when they were younger, like an image of them when they were younger at the same time. Like they were showing me a memory. And they pulled out a whole bunch of Barbie dolls, and there were these long boxes. And I never been, I never been into Barbie dolls or anything. But the boxes looked different from the ones that I had growing up, right? They were longer and thinner, and I was like, and she showed me a whole bunch of them, like 20 of them, and I'm like, what's up with this? And then there was a whole bunch of spirits trying to give me money, and then I woke up in the morning, and I was like, that was a weird dream. So I went online to look up to see if I could find it, the Barbie doll boxes with the long skinny boxes, and I started to see that they were like 1960s. They were Barbie dolls from the 1960s, and I was like, okay, that's freaky or whatever. And at the time, they didn't really cost a lot, but my intuition, my mind said, buy a couple of them, because they, just buy a couple of them. And I was like, why? And it was like to collect them. And I was like, I'm not a collector. Like, my mind's just telling me these things. I'm like, I'm not a collector. And then months, like a year passed by, really, like a whole year passed by, start advertising the Barbie movie. I'm like, that's weird. And then I was like, let me go check those Barbie dolls because I was thinking about buying like one or two. And I changed my mind. And then I went back and they were like $300-$400 and up. And I was like, all because of that Barbie movie with the original Barbie doll box. And then the Barbie movie, I think, I watched it because I thought it was weird that I had this dream, right? So I watched it, and there was a scene where it kind of talks about the creator, I think the creator of the Barbie doll. So I feel like that's witchcraft. This is what I feel. That is witchcraft. And I also feel like a lot of the music, I always talk to you guys, if you guys watch my videos on frequencies, because everything is frequency. And that's what I learned when I lost, everything, when I went through it with the narcissist, and I sold myself, for the narcissist and lost everything. And had to be reborn, right? It's like you have to be reborn into a stronger you to evolve from what happened. And I started to see the frequencies. Like, I would go to certain places, the energy, just, just walking, it's energy in motion, right? So I started to see that even exercising can make you feel good because that's energy, right? And I started to see the negative frequencies a lot more. And the negative frequencies agitate me, right? So before, music was like, I liked music. I was programmed. It's programmed music, right? It's programming. I used to love music. Now it's like I get irritated. Like, music irritates me, especially when I went through. After you go through narcissist abuse, sometimes you don't even feel like listening to music. You don't want to listen to no love songs. I mean, if you are listening to love songs and heartbreak up songs after a narcissist, you haven't completely woken up. If you've dealt with someone who really destroyed you, trust me, music, shit is going to be sensitive. Everything is going to be so sensitive. That's when you know that you sold yourself to the narcissist. When the simple joys aren't joy. You can't find joy in any of those things. And then music started to agitate me. And like I said, I started having dreams. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, something's up with the music. Like, there's got to be commercials or something going on. Like, so I studied into that. And I was like, okay, that's what it is. Because I see how people, when the music comes on, I just look at people and I'm like, it's like they're living in another world to me, So I'm not saying, you can't enjoy yourself or whatever, but a lot of the music is bringing people's frequencies down. So if you notice, if you go, like, I went a long time without watching TV or like social media or like music, because the narcissist makes you pull away from social media. Like, when a narcissist destroys you, you will delete your accounts, you will delete social media, you won't interact with people like you used to. You aren't connected. So that's what happens when you sell your soul to a narcissist. It's like you won't connect anymore. You won't connect on social media. And then you could tell other people, you could tell the narcissist online, because they can't connect with people either, but you'll see them doing weird behaviors or saying diabolical things. Like, the only way they can get any type of attention is by doing evil, right? And saying evil things. Like, those are going to be the people that are going to get the most likes. So you start to see that now a lot of people that sold themselves out, the way they get their energy is from doing evil things, or posting evil content, or doing things that are deceitful. Those are the things that are going to get the most attention, right? So part of selling your soul to the narcissist is that you got to work harder, while the narcissist is having fun. They're having fun in the playhouse. This is why you'll say, oh, it seems like they're happy, right? That's part of the illusion. They're not going to stop until they're completely destroyed, until all that energy accumulates, because they're selling other people out, but it's all going to end up the same anyway. They're still going to be taken out. So to them, it's like, I'd rather take everybody out with me. Why would I give life into others? Why should I speak truth into others? Even if I speak truth into others, they don't listen to me, or they turn on me. So the narcissist only cares about admiration. This is why when you stop admiring them, or looking up to them, or believing them, or trusting them, they don't like you anymore. Because at some point, people don't like them. They don't connect to them. Because they know that they feel like anything the narcissist does is not genuine. Eventually, people don't feel like it's genuine. They feel like, this person wants something from them. And the narcissist, in their mind, they feel like they're doing their best. They might feel like they're doing their best. And then when they feel like they're not getting anything back, that's when they turn. Because they don't want to accept how they got there, or the things. They don't want to validate their past. They don't want to take a look at themselves. They want to keep the facade and living through others. So they're not about change. They're about selling the next person out, feeding off of that person, just the same way they fed off of you. And if not, a lot of times, if it's not the narcissist trying to sell more people out, it's the devil collecting. So when I started to have that experience, the narcissist didn't even seem shocked. Like I said, you would think an experience like that would bring someone close together, right? Like, we went through something, we experienced something crazy, but it's almost like he was familiar to this spirit. He already knew the spirit realm. He already knew these things. That's why he wasn't so surprised. Every time he had nightmares, every time he had night terrors, and I had to shake him up a little bit because he was talking in his sleep, he always blamed me. But he was tormented the whole time. He's been tormented. He can't even dream because he sold himself out. Because he could keep living his life, but he's tormented by the past. Even though he claims he's happy and he got over on people, he played himself. She played himself. She played herself. They play themselves, trying to sell you out. Because once you figure it out, you realize a lot of times that you still got a chance. You have more than them. You have the kind of peace that they won't have. And that's why they targeted you, because they knew you're strong enough. They knew your strength. They were weak people. They made you believe they were strong because they were taking that strength from you. These people will fight you. These people will fight for money and families, right? Your family will fight. They're trying to sell you out. They're selling themselves out. Because then they're going to have money and they're not going to have family. They're not going to have the people around because they were greedy. They were greedy people. Or they feel like, oh, at least I have my family and we have everything. And now their own family starts turning on one another. Or now they have to sacrifice the people they love the most. So they might have family, but now they have to sacrifice their son. Now they have to sacrifice their favorite daughter, their favorite child, the golden child. Now they have to sacrifice someone for trying to sacrifice you. You know? So a lot of these people will sacrifice you. They will lie on you. They will try to get you fired. But at the end of the day, they're selling themselves. They're selling themselves. This is why it's important to let things go. These people, let them go. A lot of people tell you, don't even say nothing to these people. Just leave, because they don't care. They don't care until it happens to them. I had a miscarriage. People talked bad about me. They were gossiping about me. They assumed things about me. They said maybe I did something. Maybe I did something to deserve that. Like maybe I'm doing things that people aren't aware of. I don't know what that meant, what they were trying to imply with that. I don't know if they thought I would do drugs, or I don't know what they thought. Because people just make shit up. So when people made all these rumors about me, guess what? It ended up happening to them. They suffered a miscarriage, and now they're calling after they've gossiped about me, never even checked up on me to see how I'm doing. But we're having secret conversations about me. Now it happened to them, and now they're calling me crying, oh, I'm sorry about what you went through and the pain you suffered. I went through it too. It's the worst feeling ever. And it's like, how come you didn't say these things to me when it was happening to me, when it happened to me? You said it until it happened to you. You waited. If it would have never happened to you, you would have never said anything. You would have never said anything. Right? So people sell themselves out all the time when they talk bad about you. For sure. For sure. You know? So I feel that energy of, narcissists having to reap for what they sowed. I mean, they've been selling people out all this time. They're even telling you to your face they're blasphemous people. They're blasphemous people. They're acting like they want to help you, but they're really helping themselves. Right? They act like they want to help you, but they're really helping themselves. But guess what? When you realize the evil behind narcissism, you won't look at certain people the same anymore. You won't look up to certain people anymore. It will actually scare you. You know, it will not necessarily scare you, but you will avoid these type of people, because if they're not out seeking to destroy people's souls, and you don't hear from these people, guess what's happening? The devil is collecting. You don't hear back from these people, guess what? The devil is collecting. First, they're chipping away at you. They're chipping away at your energy. You disappear, they're chipping away at someone else. And then boom, it hits them. And then boom, they get their karma. But they won't want you to see, So sometimes it looks good. From the exterior, things look good, but they aren't what they seem. They might have more, but they don't have no peace. They wish they could wake up in the morning and drink coffee and have peace, but they wake up in the morning and their brain is constantly going through hell. When you're finding peace with everything, they can't find peace. That's why they're mad. That's why they're angry. That's why they can't be happy for you. That's why they want to spiritually kill you. And then they want you to believe that all that is going to go away because they found someone new. That's crazy. These people have no common sense. It's like, and a lot of times, if you pay attention, they don't got common sense. They're living in their own reality. They think they could do whatever they want. And there's no consequences. They think they're God. So that's what happens when the empath sells themselves to the narcissist. You have to rebuild yourself. You have to become a new person. You have to avoid certain things that feel good. They sound good to your ears, but have very low frequencies that are advertising, commercials, commercial music, advertising movies, commercials, clothes, program, being a slave, selling yourself out, distracting yourself. It's about keeping you distracted. Selling yourself out, it's about keeping yourself distracted. And guess what the narcissist does? They distract you from everything that's important, that should be important. And they make the things that are important seem like they're not that important. It's better to be in the fun world, right? So, be very aware when these people come back. Be very aware when they reach out to you and they act like they understand you, or they share similar traumas. Because once you sell yourself out to a narcissist, and you'll know, based on this video, you'll know who you are, who you really are, the things you've accepted that you don't speak about. You'll know that even if you try to forgive these people, you know that the game hasn't stopped. They're still there to still kill and destroy, meaning that they'll come back trying to relate to you. They'll come back telling you they've been through the same with certain people, but they're just coming to sell you out, to get energy from you. There's nothing, you got to think about it. Some of these people, they never cared about you. They never reached out to you. They slandered you right along with the people that were trying to destroy you. In the moment something happens to them, they come to you. Why would they come to you out of all the people they can go to? Why would they go to you? You ain't ever think about that? Like, why would they come to me? If they didn't respect me because they chose that person, okay, we have someone mutual that we don't get along with anymore. So what? Why would you return to someone that you made an enemy that never did anything to you? Why would you seek help from them? That means you're so desperate for someone to understand you, right? You're so desperate. And the empath knows that desperation because you were seeking for someone to hear you out and nobody heard you out. But now they're coming to you to hear them out. And you notice that when you do hear them out, they steal energy from you. You hear them out and they exploit you. You hear them out and it's like they can't see you. They're only there to suck energy. They don't really see you. They don't really see you the way you see them. They're just there to take energy and don't even know why. Why did they even pop up? Why did they come to you? You have nothing to offer them. You weren't respected by them. Why would they come to you? Who are you? Out of everyone they can come to, who are you? Why me? You know? Because those people tried to sell them out the same way they sold you out. But the thing is, they sold you out too. And when they come back, they don't even want to validate that they tried selling you out. They don't even want to validate that. They just want to sweep it under the rug. And then what's crazy is they'll tell you that the people that have, tried abusing you physically, mentally, spiritually, they'll tell you that these people sweep everything under the rug. But you'll see that they're doing the same thing too. The same things that other people have done to you, you'll see that they'll be doing it to you too. And if you're calling them out on it, it's scary because they won't even see it. Or they'll hear you, but it's almost like, it's like they're talking to you, but it's not even like they're talking to you. It's like they're talking through you because they don't see you. They only see themselves. They sold themselves out. They only see themselves. And they want you to believe that they're still a real person, that they're just like you, that what happened to them, what happened to you happened to them. Right? Just like the narcissist people that came into your life, they made you feel through trauma that this is why you can trust in them, because you both know pain. These people will come to you because they're in pain and no one's listening. No one's listening, right? But then they'll start doing to you the same thing that they keep saying has been done to them. And if you bring it to their awareness, they cannot understand, just like the narcissist. That's when you know you can't be around that type of person. And if you notice, if you stop talking to them, they start talking bad about you. Or they start saying you didn't appreciate them, like they were there for you, like they did so much for you, when you're the one who stayed there and talked to them even for hours at a time, restoring their energy. And they started to feel good about themselves, right? And the moment you weren't around, bad things start happening again. So then they reach out to you. They don't want to face their fears. They don't want to face their demons. And now guess what? They go and talk bad about you to those demons, and now those demons are after you. Now the people around them are after you. And you're wondering, what did I do? I did nothing but be nice to this person, and the people around them don't like you. It's freaky, it's weird. It's very, very weird. It's strange, but that's what happens. So you start to see that over and over again. And that's when you sold yourself to the narcissist, because you can't unsee certain things anymore. You're not blind. So you almost feel like you don't know if you wish you were still blind or, what it is. But trust me, at some point, you're going to realize that being conscious of these things was the best thing that could have happened to you. Because there's no telling, how the old you would have handled reality, right? You were preparing yourself for the reality of things. You were preparing yourself for the bigger war. And that's facing your own battles, facing things that keep reoccurring, lessons that you have to learn by yourself. There's lessons that you learned with others, and then there's lessons that you have to learn by yourself, because you need to know yourself well enough, right? Because if you know yourself, if you know who you are, then no one around you is going to be able to sell you out. You'll see things coming. If anything, you'll sacrifice yourself before you get sold out. Because there's just certain things you just won't be willing to do. And that's why you'll keep living on, and these people will keep destroying one another. The narcissist knows it has dark energy following them. They know these things. I've seen it. They don't like talking about these things. Guess what? A lot of narcissists, they don't talk about these things. They actually avoid these conversations because they're confused. They don't really know what to believe. They don't know. They're stuck in limbo. They can't hear God's voice. They have none but bad voices in their head. They know what's logical, but they don't live in logic. They just live in logic to get by. They just live in logic to get along, try to get along with others. Outside of putting the mask on, it's something else there. It's something else. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace in your healing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you guys want to support my channel by booking a session with me, my booking is on the description as always. Sending you guys lots of love. Talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.